Okay, no, sorry, I was wrong.
Oh my gosh, Keith! We need to take a picture of us out here. Oh my god, I'm so glad we came
having
this
the drone
way.
here would have been good.
Careful.
Want to see it, Harry? Oh my god.
Like, wow, what
This is insane.
Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're coming to you from Algonquin Park, which is, in my opinion, Ontario's #1 nicest provincial park for hiking, camping, biking. Now there's a lot of videos about hiking and camping in Algonquin Provincial Park. What I want to do in this video is give you a detailed site tour of where we are right now, which is Mew Lake. So this is an RV/dry camping/tent camping campground, and what I found when I was trying to find videos on Mew Lake to see what does it actually look like, the videos were pretty poor quality. A lot of just people talking, not showing you the actual site, and then they were just talking around a campfire. So I'm gonna try to put together a really nice video so you can see what the campsites are like, where you can see what the beaches are like, the amenities are like, and then maybe even make recommendations on which sites are better than others. And that way, if you're planning a trip to Mew Lake, you can already get a foot ahead and get some of the nicer areas. I'm also going to do a follow-up video after this one, which is camp trails, biking trails, and bike trails all around Mew Lake. So you can know some places you can go right away to get some spectacular hiking and camping done. So stick around. I hope you enjoyed this video, and let's get right to it. I'll show you where we are right now, which is part of an electrical hookup RV site. So right now we are on the North Road. This is the one that borders the lake, and these are where the electrical hookup campsites are located. This here, for example, is Site 47, and it's these lakefront campsites that I believe are going to be the primo choice for you to try to get. Nice and spacious, pretty decent privacy as far as provincial park RV camping goes. Okay, so just across the road is our Site 48, and we are just lake view, but we don't have a site on the lake. This is because this was really the only site we could get. So if you are planning to come to Mew Lake or any of the Algonquin parks, really, you have to book early. Especially this year, they say camping is up 200%, which is understandable from COVID. People want to get out and enjoy their vacations and they don't want to fly. So going out to a provincial park is a great solution for getting out of the house during times of COVID. So there's a lot of people camping now. RV camping specifically is really gaining in popularity, so make sure you book early. Here is our electrical hookup. This is what the electrical hookup looks like. You might have to run an extension cord just based on the trees around, if you can get your camper back close enough. So it's always good to have an electrical hookup. They also have, some of the sites have these yurts, which are very nice, like super glamour camping. So if you don't have an RV, those are great options for you. And you can see that they're wheelchair accessible as well. So you can see there's lots of room at the campsites. The privacy is probably moderate to average. A lot of campsites will offer more dense trees between each individual plot. So these are pretty good, but there's a lot better campsites for privacy. But for the most part, people just want to come up here and relax, and it's not very loud. You're not going to have a whole bunch of people playing loud music. It's really a nice relaxed crowd that comes up, at least we found so far. Okay, so we're at the beach now. I'm gonna just pop over to the far side and film the beach from the far side, so I'm not too close to people. You know, filming people at a beach is always a little no-no, creepy. But I do want to get a shot of the lake and the beach, so we're just gonna kind of get far enough away from people that we're not invading their privacy or anything. And I'll show you guys what the beach looks like. But there's a lot of room here to play if you want to do any kind of volleyball or soccer, anything like that. Get outside and get a little more space than you have in your actual campsite ground. You can come out here, lots of frisbee going on pretty much all day long. I actually popped out to the beach quite early today because I was hoping it would be dead, but people do love going to the beach. So the beach is pretty nice. The swimming is great. You can go out, see where that far kayaker is. We were standing out there up to about our shoulders, and you know, so it's got a roped off place for the kids. It's pretty safe. There's no motorized boats allowed on the lake at all, so it's a nice quiet lake. It's a bit of a small lake, but it's big enough that you can get out there, have fun. So scattered around are these kind of outhouses here, just like this. Now the laneways between all the RV sites, it's basically a grid of streets and there's campsites off of each grid. And the laneways have these walking paths that are no bike allowed. So if you are wanting to go from your site to, say, the shower area, which I'll show in a bit, then you have these nice, convenient and beautiful walking trails to take you from site to site. You don't have to necessarily, you know, walk down the big open roads where people are biking and cars are going. Okay, so here's one of the empty yurt sites that I thought I would visit. This one is wheelchair accessible, but some of them have much better ramps with railings. This is also, it looks like a smaller yurt than some of the other ones that I've been seeing. And you can see this one actually does have electricity as well. And one thing I wanted to mention is that you can buy firewood from the local camp store. It's just about 5 minutes from your campsite, 5-minute walk. And these are sold for $10 a bag. So it's fairly expensive, but the rule is that you cannot transport wood around because you could be transporting emerald ash borer and other insects that could cause ecological devastation to the national forest. So make sure that you are not trying to be cheap and bring your own wood in. Make sure that you follow the rules because the rules are there for a reason. Very important reason ecologically. Now this here is the water trail. There's a couple of these for every maybe 8 or so campsites, and it's just a walking trail up to a water fountain, which I'll go show you in a second. I'll just let this lady get hers and come out, and then I'll go. So I'll show you that in a second, but one thing I wanted to mention is that there's no permanent water hookups anywhere at Algonquin. Not just at Mew Lake, but anywhere at all. So make sure that you are filling your water tank. If you're dry camping, I would definitely suggest bringing your own bottled water. Okay, so here's what you're looking at in the water, and you can see there's another walking trail coming that way. So you can get at these from a couple different angles, and this is what you're looking at for your water fill. And there's obviously the warnings that you need to boil before use, and as well, it's expected that nobody washes their own dishes and dumps this on the campsites, because even just the soaps and the scents in the soaps and the gray water can attract bears, and no one wants bears all around the campsites. So do people actually follow these rules? I don't know. I think it's probably pretty hit or miss, but make sure that you're the person who does go around following these rules, because they're there for a reason. Now, as far as gray water and black water dumping goes, let's talk about black water first. One of probably the worst things about coming to Algonquin is that I believe there's one pumping station for the entire provincial park, and this is a massive provincial park. So sometimes there can be long lineups. When we first got here, we wanted to bring an empty water tank, fresh water tank, and then fill up at the pumping station, and we had a serious wait. Probably took us about 2.5 hours to get fresh water. And it's mostly because there's one dumping station for the entire provincial park. So that's dumping black water. Dumping gray water is a bit of a contentious issue, because a lot of people will say that campers can basically just do their dishes and dump their gray water even right into the lake, but definitely into the woods. You'll drink a coffee at a campfire, pour the rest out onto the ground. Drink a beer, pour the rest out onto the ground. We shouldn't really be doing that, mostly because of the wildlife, and we can attract the wildlife towards us. For the gray water, we're also putting down, chemicals and solvents, possibly shampoos, into the natural ecosystem, and that's really a no-no. Now, there are organic dish soaps that you can use. However, specifically for RVs, sometimes people don't flush their gray water systems out thoroughly in the beginning and the end of the year, and they can kind of turn into a bacterial cesspit. And then when you're pumping that out, it's a lot different than a camper who's taking fresh water, washing a dish, and putting that onto the ground. It's much different for an RV camper to take their gray water tank that's sat there for a week in what was already a heavily bacteria inoculated tank, and then dumping that out onto the ground. So it's just a potential way to, release pathogens or nasty stuff into our national parks. So make sure that you are dumping your gray water out into the approved dumping station. Okay, so here are the combined showers and washrooms. And this is kind of where you'd want to come to clean up. Masks are required during COVID. The back side of the room, so the men's washroom there, and then a shower. And then there's 5 more showers here on the front side, and including a wheelchair accessible shower. So you can tell that the park has really tried to do their best to accommodate wheelchair and disabilities as well. And if that is something that's concerning to you, you can look at getting specifically campsites 11 and 13, which are really close right next to this shower. And there's even a wheelchair accessible gate so that you can easily get there without having to travel through some of those tight trails or down the busy roads. So if that's a concern, definitely look at picking up campsite 11 and 13. So we're still at the showers, and you can see that right behind us, if you wanted to, you can start your adventure for the day. So the hiking trails can begin right off of the campgrounds here. This will take you to the railway trail. The bike trail is a little wider. It's pretty much a road you could drive a car down that width, and then some of the hiking trails that come off of that to the side are like this, and we'll do a video tomorrow showing you some of those trails, and we'll even hit some of the lookouts on those trails. It should be a fantastic day. So if you're a big hiker and you want to see some of that stuff, make sure you stick around for part 2 that'll come out shortly after this video here. Now, as far as campsite locations go, I would try to, if you can avoid it, Avoid the ones that are in the middle between all the sites. I'll highlight them here. The problem with these ones is that you're really surrounded by campers. I mean, if you want that, you know, surrounded party style vibe, or if you're bringing friends, that could be a good way to go. But it'll be a little more congested, a little bit more of like an RV circus style atmosphere. You really want to get that north road right next to the lake if you want privacy, or kind of along the outside corners. One other thing that I would definitely caution against is the northernmost site. There's a loop that goes up and around. Those sites, I don't believe they have electricity, but most importantly, Highway 60 runs right down the back of them. And I mean, some of them like 30 feet away from the site. Trish and I went for a walk down there last night, and we actually couldn't believe how loud and intrusive that traffic was. So if you're looking for a site, if you can avoid those ones that are right near Highway 60, definitely do that. If you want a quieter trip with no radios at all, no dogs allowed, then you want to look into those sites there. There may not be amenities for RVs, and you may not be able to get in with a larger RV there. You may not even be able to get in with an RV at all. But if you're just dry camping in a tent, then that could be something that you're looking for. So this is site 57, which I think is probably one of the nicer sites. So if you're looking for both privacy and lakefront, then check this one out. It's the water access here. But yeah, 57 I think is really nice. 59 is another nice site. I won't show you the site. It looks similar just because there's people on it. But down in there, there is an electrical, that yellow thing, and it looks like the two sites are sharing them. 61 as well is a really nice site. It's a little narrower but more private. So I would say if you can go from roughly 57 up to at least 61, maybe further, then you're going to get really good privacy plus lakefront. Okay, so 65 I think is too close to the beach, and it's also too shallow, so you're sitting right out on the road. So the real sweet spot is 57, 59, and 61. Those are the ones I would say the primo quality sites. So thanks for watching this video, and that's pretty much the entire campsite. And again, stick around for tomorrow's video where we take you on some hiking trails, and that's where the real fun is. So even if you get some of these suboptimal campsites that are closer to Highway 60, you still have access to all the trails, and they're really, really wonderful and fantastic. So no matter what, you're going to enjoy your stay here. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Okay, so right along Highway 60, there is Lake of Two Rivers Grocery and Camp Store. This is kind of, you know, one of the only places you can go if you forgot something at home. There's also bike rentals here that you can do, and there's bike trails that take off right from here. I have a feeling that the prices understand fully that this is the only place that you can go for a lot of things, so definitely pack and bring everything you can before you get here, but if you need to, this is somewhere you can go.
$20 for this little can of bug spray.